Not only have you all come to learn about the company Atomy, which will rewrite the history of network marketing, but also be introduced to Atomy's words one by one. Rather, Atomy will confidently compete in terms of quality and price with discount stores, TV home shopping and online shopping malls where consumers buy daily necessities without commission by being a business that sells the products at a lower price. In terms of the overall business, the management is both legal and ethical. Only process the payment to our suppliers. We are never late and immediately pay them in cash. So compared to other companies, the management is much more virtuous. With regards to paying taxes, we actually ask of our staff and employees to make sure not to sweep anything under the rug. Atomy will continue to not only establish itself as a company people respect, but also become the leader in making it happen. If you are able to show that Atomy can do well with these methods, I believe that other MLM companies will follow suit, and that the history of network marketing can be rewritten. From this point on, we cannot lose our foothold, and we need to devote ourselves to this cause. This is the company that you are learning about. Since you have gotten to know this tool known as Atomy, you should be asking yourself, how can I succeed? And the question is why there aren't a lot of people who succeeded. There was a person by the name Andrew Carnegie. Although he was born into a poor family, he was able to become wealthy and establish the Carnegie Foundation. In his old age, he thought, I was born into a poor family, but if I was born into another poor family, will I be able to succeed? After thinking about it, he was 100% sure that he would. Even if he was born 10 times, he would be successful every single time. So he thought about why most people couldn't succeed. He asked himself, why can't they succeed? And realized it was because they didn't know the laws of success. Thus, he thought it is necessary to share the laws of success. From the time we were born to when we are 30 years old, we prepare for life by studying. We work from the ages of 30 to 60. Do we work half-heartedly or diligently? Everyone does their best to live well. Afterwards, we live out our retirement until 90 or so. Even though we prepare and work for 30 years each, in the end, only 1% of the people became successful. Essentially, they were rich and wealthy. 4% of the people became financially independent. These people were not rich, but they didn't need to ask help for others. 15% of the people passed away. 10% of the people were living paycheck to paycheck. The remaining 70% of the people were living in retirement without any money or job. 99% of the people failed in life, and only 1% of the people were able to achieve success. If you look at those around you, you kind of get this feeling, right? So the question is, how did the 1% succeed? And why does the other 99% fail? Carnegie's answer was, it's because they don't know the laws of success. If 100 people knew the laws of success, all 100 people would be successful, since they cannot become successful without it. I need to let people know about it. That is when the laws of success were first presented. But these principles and laws are not something that anyone can just create. Now, Stephen Covey described this law as the true North principle, which states that North is already predetermined. Therefore, the laws of success are also fixed. Everyone take out your pointer finger. Point in the direction of North. Which way is it? Everyone is pointing in different directions. It seems many of you are suggesting this way is north. Following the majority rule, we will say that this is north. Does that mean this is north? We cannot be certain, right? How would we check? We need to use a compass. Yet even before we use the compass, north has already been fixed. The compass will only help us identify which way it is. Likewise, the laws of success are also predetermined. So if you follow the laws, you succeed. If you don't, you will fail. Again, this isn't something anyone can just make up. Instead, it's a fixed law like the laws of nature. It's already predetermined, right? If you were farming but went against these laws, you'd never be successful in your harvest. Thus, many people compare these laws to the law of farming. The law of farming states that you must follow the laws of nature when you are farming. I will use the law of farming to explain about the laws of success, as it will be easier to understand. If you use a farmer cultivating a field as an example, so what is the first thing the farmer does? Many people have different answers for this, but the first thing a farmer needs to do is decide how much or what to harvest. If you were to harvest sweet potatoes, you will need a field. However, if you need rice, you need to buy paddies. Therefore, you need to know how much and what to harvest first in order to decide if you need land, rice paddies, or for peanuts, sand. Depending on what you are going to harvest, the decisions regarding what you need can be decided. The farmer needs to answer two questions. What and how much will I harvest? Even though you actually plant the seeds and then harvest them afterward, the farmer still needs to determine what he will harvest first. When you are cultivating your farm of life, you'd answer the what will I harvest by envisioning in your mind the kind of person you want to be in your final days. Once the farmer answers in his mind how much or what to harvest, he will be able to make the necessary decisions. This process is actually known as MBO, which stands for Management by Objectives. With the MBO process, you make your decisions based on your objectives. Essentially, you make decisions based on what you will harvest. Although not many people apply this to their own lives, major institutions like companies and governments carefully follow and utilize this management process. Yet, this process has not been implemented into our individual lives. If the farmer didn't have 10 bags of rice in his mind, there wouldn't be any bags of rice in storage, right? So where does the 10 bags of rice come from? It came out from the farmer's head and into the storeroom. The image of your successful self must also be created in your mind in order for other people to see you succeed when it's actualized 3 to 5 years later. Now the question is, in what ways will you be successful? We as humans have flesh, a physical body. We also have something called the spirit. There is something similar to the spirit called the soul. Finally, we are surrounded by the environment. Each of these have their own desires, which is why it's so complicated. On top of being complex, all of these desires need to be fulfilled. Now, the flesh would desire something like good health, right? It would want a long life as well. Finally, it desires a luxurious and secure life, where you don't have to worry about basic needs. We can sum this up as live well. The spirit is not the same as our soul. We are actually differentiated from animals due to the spirit. Animals don't have a spirit and only have a soul. It's very difficult to tell the difference. But the spirit deals with morals and ethics. It also has the concept of time. The spirit has a perception of time. Animals do not have a sense of time. We are able to realize when I die, my life will come to an end. We are able to look back on our past. and think about our future. Human beings have this ability to transcend time, as we can freely travel back and forth between the past and future. Additionally, the spirit desires to receive and give love, which stems from our Creator. So it becomes meaningless if you focus on them individually. For example, there are people who say, what good is just living well? However, you need to live well because of the people you love. If you are poor, then your children, your spouse, and your parents who pass away after worrying about you are affected, as they will all have to deal with it as well. This could lead to your children worrying about it and then even committing suicide because they cannot overcome that difficulty. Even if they don't commit suicide, they might break down, become disappointed, and lack energy. If you want to give them strength, you need to be living well. But to do that, learning becomes necessary. Everything stems from living well. People who are weak are like that because they lack love. With a tool like Atomy, your academic background, your looks, your age, your capital, your experience, and your skills do not matter. As long as you have the passion, Atomy provides the ladder that will lead you to success. However, there are people who still do not try, and that's because they lack love in their heart. Your thoughts need to be, do whatever you want with me. I'm ready to sacrifice anything for my loved ones as long as there is a way for us to live well. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to get there. That's how ready your heart should be. Are your hearts and minds prepared? Your answers like energy. Are you ready? You need to live well for the people you love. I married my wife because I love her very much. I followed her around for a year before marrying her. I worked as a salary employee and quit after 17 years because there was no retirement plan, so I started my own business. I started an online shopping mall, but it went bankrupt after 3 years. My house, my car got repossessed. We had to move into a small renter and had little to eat. I contracted a liver disease and diabetes. My doctor friend told me that I had to stop working as well. Since I couldn't go out and make money, my wife had to work, but do you know how much she got? She could only make $1,500 a month in Korea. A woman who is in her 50s can make money. She would take what she made and paid out. With whatever was left, she would use it to make lunch for the kids and send them to school. One day I came home and it was really cold, so I told her to turn on the heater since it was cold. And she just said, "You don't think I know that?" That was her response to my request, which meant that she too was shivering from the cold and that she could have turned it on if I was making money. I responded, "You don't need to save money when you don't have money, so turn it on." That's when the world around her collapsed. My wife, who just laughed it off before, started telling me how due to my choices and actions we were in this situation where we had to live in this cold, small winter house. Our relationship got worse as we continued to argue. It got to the point where my wife said, "Let's separate after the kids graduate." Now my wife is someone who does what she says. When I heard these words, my world came tumbling down. My knees became weak and I fell to the ground. I grabbed onto my wife's leg and I couldn't stop crying. I told her, "Please don't leave. I can't just let you go like this. If you go now, you don't have a house to live in, no funds for your retirement. How will you survive? If you are going to leave, at least wait until I can give you a house and money for your retirement. I cannot let you live like this, so please don't leave just yet." All she said to me was, "When?" I have now bought her a house and put retirement money into her personal account, but she never tells me when she will be leaving me.
Actually, we are never apart at home. I massage her leg, feet, and shoulders. We argue about who will massage who. Our sons tell us, you guys are too much. We're living really well now. Thus, we need to live well, especially for the people we love. This genius passion that you need for success comes from the joining of these three elements. If you don't have any passion, it means your love has cooled. You need to do whatever it takes to reignite the passion so that the fire of love could burn and fuel your passion. Your thoughts need to be, I must live well for my loving children and for my husband, who sacrificed everything for his family by working long hours. You have to be able to tell your husband from now on or in 2 years, I will let you rest. Someone told me about the song he hated because the lyric, hey dad, please cheer up, we have us, you have us, he couldn't understand what more they wanted because he was doing everything he could. Instead of singing the song, you need to change the lyric. Hey dad, you did your best, we will do it, so you just rest. Think about how happy the fathers would be. And you just need to wait for 3 years. After that, you could say you will have to do your laundry yourself. Anyway, we need to create the life to be playing like a movie in your head. This movie should be about the life you want to live, where you are healthy and lively. You need the image of the car you will be driving, the way you will help and treat your people, and the way you will take care of your relatives must all be in the movie. The house, the car, the trip that you want, and the way you could support your parents need to be created in your mind first. After organizing these thoughts, you need to make your own movie. As long as the movie is made well, it could all become a reality. Someone asked me, it becomes a reality if I just envision it? Yes. If you could create it clearly in your mind, it will come true. Our body can differentiate between imagination and reality. Let's do a small experiment. Imagine that I am feeding you the sweet and sour red pomegranate, the ripe pomegranate into your mouth. As you chew on the seed, the sweet and sour juices of aromatic pomegranate fill your mouth. What happened? You salivate, right? You might want to go to the hospital if nothing happens. As human beings, when we imagine things like eating pomegranate seeds, our body will react as if it actually is. There are many scientific cases that could prove this. Here's an example. Most of you are still tired when you wake up in the morning. For those of you who feel really heavy and tired, I have a quick and easy one-step remedy for you. One way would be to take hemohim, but this remedy is actually more effective. Imagine that you receive $30,000 every month in your pocket. How would you feel? Would your body feel heavy like a rock or light as a feather? You'd actually be cured of almost every illness, and your immune system would just be through the roof. All of this could happen if you could get $30,000 a month. Our body will have the same reaction whether you generously received it, genuinely lived it, or if you truly believed that it would happen. Instead, you need to envision yourself as a person who makes $30,000 to $50,000 a month. You need to picture yourself already driving the Mercedes-Benz, living in 5-bedroom home that is 3,500 square feet, giving help to your people, supporting your siblings, letting your children educate a lot. Even though these are only images in your mind, are not a reality yet, your own 2 feet must be standing in the unseen. Again, the third motto is follow the faith. You have to be in the unseen in order to gradually bring the current reality to that vision. Your vision is what makes this work. And it will drive you to achieve it. You won't be able to achieve anything without a dream. So you must have a dream and create your vision. This is entirely different from having a delusion. If you think that is impossible, it will become a belief, because a belief is having a faith in your thoughts. When we say that we have the conviction, we need to believe it. Belief could create miracles. From the beginning, I believed that Atomy would become a global company, that we would become the #1 multi-level marketing company in Korea. Atomy will be a big business and a global company. Atomy will be a big business. Miracles are created by faith. You have to envision yourself earning $30K to $50K a month in your mind and truly believe it. Once you do, your expression, your speech, your eyes, your actions will change accordingly. That is why you must have a vivid image of this in your mind. After that, you need to follow the faith. Thus, you need to create a movie and continuously play it over and over in your mind. Now, to create your movie, you need to have a scenario. And you will be writing your live scenario. In this scenario, there is a big circle like this, small circles where you could fill in items. After that, you need to score yourself on a scale 1 to 10. When you connect them, you will get your will of life. If your will is jagged and rough, it won't roll well. When all these areas become 10 points and then connect the dots, you get a big round wheel. Thus, you need to write ways on how you could make them all 10s. And these 3 tricks you need to have in your mind. First one is to be clear. You need to be as clear and concrete as possible. So it is best to write everything, the color of the car, the number of rooms, and even the exact number and address. The second is to have a deadline. Finally, last one is the amount. You need to know how much it costs before you could decide if it will. You write the details about your children's education, fill your duty instead of thinking that $200 or $300 is enough spending money for a parent. You should giving them live expenses like $2K to $3K so that they could maintain your life, pay any medical fees, go somewhere with their friends. That is what fulfilling your filial duties is about. So if you took an estimate, you would need at least $30K to $50K a month to fully realize your life scenario. However, a majority of people think, I would be happy if I could just make $3K to $7K. Would be rich with $3K to $7K a month? Would it call a successful life? From my experience, it is impossible to achieve success. Actually, those who make $3 to $7K work the hardest. There are also many people who mistake that making lots of money is difficult. Actually, majority of people think this way. But in truth, making a huge amount of money is not that hard. It's quite the opposite. Those who make a small amount of have it worse. If you have someone who made $1K to $2K and yet who made $100 to $100K, who would live the hard life? The former one will live the harder life. So they say you could avoid bankruptcy as long as you keep your income equal to the 2 or greater than your income. Yet those who do are the ones who are poor. You can't become rich by saving money. It's the reverse. Instead of budgeting expenses based on your income, you need to first determine your expenditure like this. After you make an estimate, like you need $30 to $50K, you just need to go find a job where you earn that money. You don't need to search any further because it's possible with Atomy. If you go to other success lectures, they will also tell you to calculate expenses and then find a job that could cover it. Now at Atomy, we even provide a way to achieve it. So none of you have to worry about it. Thus, your income needs to be based on your expenses. If you truly believe that you will be a person who earns $30 to $50K a month and are certain you will be living that life, your life attitude will change. and that will allow you to achieve it. This is what the laws of success are. So you need to set a goal of who you ultimately want to be first and work towards achieving it. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, right? Before that light bulb came into the world, it was first switched on Edison's head. After experimenting several thousands or 10,000 times, the light bulb that was shining in Edison's mind came into being in the real world. All the law of successes are the same. Henry Ford was making a car. He was thought about the road, his car. He realized that he can make the car cheaper through mass production and that he needed a conveyor system. Eventually revolutionized the transportation industry. All people who achieve success envision their successful self in their minds first. So, what needs to be in your mind? You need to create a fabulous movie of yourself living a successful life that you want. You need to be able to fall head over heels for it. A movie that is so splendid that you could take your risk. You would do anything to make it happen. You have to make a movie. You would be completely satisfied with its content. When you have this in your mind, your body will be as strong as any superheroes. Once that exciting life of earning $50,000 is envisioned in your mind, the way you walk will become different. Do you think you would be sluggishly dragging your feet? Of course not. If you believe you will get $50,000 a month, you will be so stylish. As you strut around with confidence, you need to change yourself with your vision like this. You also need to be standing until the day you achieve it. Belief is not having faith in the seen. As long as you have the faith, you will achieve it. Thus, you can't wake from that dream or vision. I will end the note. Thank you for listening.